Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Does Nick want to send Matt to the mortuary or GH? Spoilers for The Young and the Restless reveal that Nick Newman acted carelessly. He returned to the sinister shadow room, which is run by Sienna Bacall, and gave the man he thought was Matt Clark a straight punch to the face. Nick stormed to the bar, turned the presumed Matt around, and slammed his fist into Howarth's character's jaw in a fantastic reaction shot that incorporated sound effects. Sienna's startled response exacerbated the problems she and her enigmatic spouse are facing. Thankfully, Noah Newman awoke in the interim. When his hand moved and his mind cleared, his mother was present. Conversations with her, Victoria Newman and Nikki Newman, ensued. The mummy speaks clearly after awakening. Nick was on his way into the notorious nightclub. Both he and Kyle Abbott had previously been there when they caused trouble for themselves. The character played by Howarth calls himself Mitch Bacall. Since it's her married name, Sienna clearly accepts that nickname, but she doesn't seem to be aware that Mitch is an assumed name. All of the aforementioned relate to Noah, with whom Matt recently communicated. It's unclear if Matt set Noah up, even though it appears highly likely. But being awake should increase the amount of story detail that is available. The true last name of Audra Charles revealed. Holden Novak used to work as a bartender in the Shadow Room, where he would take $100,000 from Audra Charles. Holden told Claire Newman and the audience that Audra's true last name is Cortez or Cortez. The cast list of YNR, which includes character names, does not yet reflect this alteration. Before Claire left for Genoa City, Wisconsin, Holden wanted to give her some information that would be helpful in a number of ways. It suggests that Holden is a kind man who desires a complete escape from his life in Los Angeles, California. It's fascinating what Claire discovered about Audra. It will be crucial to find out if she gives Kyle that information so that he can better defend himself against any threats Audra may make in the future. In California, Matt Clark appears to be familiar. The decision to send Matt to General Hospital is a public tribute to the magnificent vessel Howarth spent many years aboard. His new addition to YNR's ensemble expands the show's talent pool and places the actor in a part that viewers haven't seen in almost 25 years. Rick Hurst, a member of the current GH cast, last portrayed Matt in 2001. At that point in the history of the show, he went under the alias Carter Mills. Hurst's version had plastic surgery, as devoted fans remember. Viewers are presuming that Howarth's face was altered in his version as well. As the tension in this plot builds, that is simply one more aspect that needs to be developed. At last, Audra's secret is revealed. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Audra Charles's secret has finally been revealed, and viewers are aware of the lengths she would go to in order to achieve her goals. The reality of Holden Novak's role in Audra's entire predicament. This is the big secret of Audra Charles. Holden informed Claire Newman that Audra Charles's greatest secret had finally come to light. Given how close they have recently become, Holden wanted to be honest with Claire. At last, Holden told Audra what was going on that evening. At the Shadow Room, Audra was with a man when she took a $500,000 check. Holden took their order. Audra and the man were frequent patrons of the club. The man wanted to toast Audra after she toasted their relationship. This man intended to make Audra inebriated. Audra attempted to flee, but he would not let her. Holden intervened, claiming that the man was being oversolved. After being asked to leave, the man became irate. Audra grabbed his wallet. The following day, Audra came back and requested Holden's assistance. Holden was persuaded by Audra to give the wallet back and inform the man that he had discovered it in the restroom. Holden was charged with collaborating with Audra and stealing the $500,000 check. Audra Charles took the money and ran. Holden informed Claire that although Audra fled town with the money, Mitch Bacall had pledged to make her pay. Holden was shocked to see Audra in Genoa City as he knew she was being pursued. Audra was pretending that nothing had occurred. Holden declined Claire's request for the man's name since he acknowledged that if Audra lost, he would also lose because Audra had given him a sizable sum of money. Back then, Audra Charles was Audra Cortez. When Holden met her in Genoa City, he was shocked to learn that she was using Audra Charles. After stealing the money from this unidentified man, Audra had clearly altered her name. When Holden first met Audra in Los Angeles, she was an artist. Audra had developed into a corporate climber by the time Holden met her in Genoa City. It's a little odd to picture Audra as a painter because she keeps moving up the corporate ladder. It's clear that even Nate Hastings doesn't know who Audra Charles really is. What else is Audra concealing? If the truth about the money she stole was out, how much trouble would she be in? Complete assistance, completing the gaps, concerned friend. According to Thursday, November 6 spoilers for The Young and the Restless, the drama will go on in both Genoa City and Los Angeles. A character worries about their friend. Someone fills in the blanks concerning their recent activities, and a son receives the complete backing of his parents. What can we expect from Thursday's performance? It's time to find out. The parental units offer Kyle Abbott complete support. According to Thursday, November 6 spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Jack and Diane Abbott will fully support Kyle Abbott. However, what precisely are they supporting him with at this point? Does this relate to their son's effort to get Claire Newman back? Or is it related to Jabot's business? Don't forget to see our weekly Y&R spoilers here. Filling in the blanks, Noah Newman. Noah Newman will provide more details regarding his activities since leaving Genoa City when he is in Los Angeles. Will his face be seen by fans at last? Will he also tell his parents, or will Y&R viewers only learn a little bit of Noah's past? Will Noah also bring up Mitch and Sienna Bacall? To discover out, fans will need to tune in. Read this. November 10th spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Kyle's jealous rage, Matt's deceit, and Kane's heartbreaking loss. Nick Newman's fear. Lastly, according to Thursday's spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman will be concerned about Sharon Newman's security. After all, Mitch Bacall resembles Matt Clark quite a little, and because Matt was fixated on Sharon, Nick has good reason to be worried. Sharon has experienced a lot in the past few years, including being stalked by Cameron Kirsten, Ian Ward, and Jordan's Plot, and more recently, being abducted by Martin Laurent together with Phyllis Summers. For a variety of reasons, including the fact that he thinks Mitch is Matt, Nick will be extremely protective of Sharon. Nick Newman's Perilous Fury. This most recent arc, which combines decades of anguish with real emotion, is one of the most powerful depictions of Nick Newman's decline into reckless rage. Nick, a son, father, and former lover plagued by the ghosts of Genoa City's past, represents a man on the brink as he returns to the Shadow Room, a dimly lighted emblem of corruption and buried truths. His choice to approach the man he believes to be Matt Clark is the result of years of suppressed remorse and anxiety rather than merely an impetuous act of retaliation. When he strikes Mitch Bacall, a man whose visage strikingly resembles that of his former adversary Matt, it transcends mere violence. Unresolved history, paranoia, and the urgent need to keep people he loves safe, especially Sharon, collide. We witness a man who has lost control and is motivated more by instinct than by logic at the instant when Nick's fist makes contact. He remembers the impetuous Newman temper inherited from his father, Victor, when he storms through the Shadow Room. Nick's rage extends beyond Matt. It also encompasses every instance in which he failed to save Sharon and every instance in which evil from the past has reappeared under a different name. The sound effects, Sienna Bacall's shocked expression, and the eerie silence that ensues all serve as an echo of the carnage that is about to happen. The writers skillfully frame this scene. The symbol of the Shadow Room. The Shadow Room is a figurative place for deceit and duplicity rather than just a physical site. It serves as both a nightclub and a transitional space where masks take the place of faces, and it is run by Sienna Bacall and her mysterious husband Mitch. Power brokers, con artists, and desperate people looking for obscurity are among the people who frequent there, and their emotional filth is reflected in the smooth surfaces and dark tones. The violation of moral bounds is indicated by Nick's violent incursion into this realm. Truth has always been valuable to him, even if it means turning into the same thing he hates. This aura of suspense is further enhanced by the tension between Sienna and Mitch. Sienna is shocked by Nick's scream, but it's more than just fear, it's recognition. She is aware of the frailty of the world she has created, one of lies and secrets. It's possible that the man she names her spouse isn't who she believes him to be. Her response quietly conveys an increasing awareness that the life she's managed is falling apart. The awakening of Noah Newman. The emotional counterpoint is provided by his son Noah Newman's coma waking while Nick's fury erupts in Los Angeles. His initial gestures, a twitching hand and a cleared gaze, represent the Newman bloodline's unwavering determination to pull itself back from the precipice. Hope and new questions are brought about by Noah's resurrection. How did he get involved with Mitch or Matt Bacall? What part did the Shadow Room play in his near-death experience? The strength of family ties is reaffirmed in the moments of Noah's recuperation, where he is surrounded by his mother, Victoria, and Nikki, who are clearly upset. Beneath their relaxation, however, is a generalized uneasiness, a reckoning or the realization that one's sins have returned to demand atonement, typically accompanies every Newman revival. Noah's waking will probably be the key to revealing Mitch's true identity, because his restored consciousness implies that he knows more about the enigmatic than anybody else. The Mummy awakens, the rebirth of Matt Clark. In the mythology of the young and the restless, Matt Clark's name is significant. He represents unresolved business and is more than just a villain. His fixation with Sharon, his torment of Nick, and his prior death make the possibility of his resurrection terrifying. Roger Howarth's choice to play the part under the identity Mitch Bacall is a deft storytelling device that combines YNR heritage with GH nostalgia. The humorous notion of Nick sending him to General Hospital or the morgue is one example of the show's deliberate use of meta-references, which is both a wink to the audience and a somber hint at how deadly this plot could turn out. Mitch's reappearance is both poetic and horrifying if he is, in fact, Matt. Matt may have more complex objectives now that he has survived, disguised himself, and taken on a new life. Is he looking for anarchy, redemption, or retribution? A melancholy undercurrent is introduced by Sienna's seeming ignorance of his true identity. She might be another victim of Matt's deceit. For Nick, this is more than just a conflict with an adversary. It's a struggle with fate itself, as if the cosmos won't allow him or Sharon to let go of their past. Audra Charles, the schemer's double life. Audra Charles's history as Audra Cortez bursts into the open in tandem with this developing storm. Her already enigmatic persona gains depth when it is revealed that she once stole $500,000 and altered her name. Audra has always been depicted as the archetypal social climber, astute, aspirational, and blatantly self-serving. However, this new information about her past as a con artist and artist alters how viewers perceive her current goals. In addition to strengthening the connections between plots, Holden Novak's admission to Claire that Audra tricked a man at the Shadow Room quietly connects her to the criminal ecosystem. Nick's most recent violent act has taken place in the same bar where she committed her defining crime. Through the geography of dishonesty, Audra's ghost of thievery hangs in the air like cigarette smoke, connecting her fate to that of Nick and Noah. According to Holden's account, Audra alternates between being the victim and the offender. She was exploited by a man who wouldn't let her go, which put her in a risky scenario in addition to stealing. YNR's ageless theme, you can change your identity but not your nature, is exemplified by her escape, theft, and transformation into a corporate executive in Genoa City. No matter how cleverly hidden, the past always manages to come to the surface. The discovery of Claire Newman. In this saga, Claire Newman acts as the audience's investigative stand-in. Her discussion with Holden exposes the moral weaknesses that lie beneath the glossy exterior of Genoa City. Claire is faced with a moral conundrum when Holden reveals that Audra was once Audra Cortez and fled with pilfered money. Should she reveal Audra's secret or keep Holden's confession private? Claire is given agency in the expanding web of lies by the decision, which places her as both a witness and a participant. Claire's position in the Abbott Newman drama is further strengthened by this subplot, particularly if she chooses to tell Kyle Abbott. Her choice will have an impact on Kyle's personal life in addition to his business transactions. Given that Kyle has previously been let down by cunning women, Claire's exposure of Audra could rekindle his desire for vengeance. Claire's decision might therefore affect not only Audra's destiny, but also the balance of power between the Abbotts and Audra's rebirth and the price of ambition. One of the Young's central moral lessons, ambition unbridled by ethics inevitably demands a toll, is encapsulated in Audra's journey from struggling artist to power-hungry executive. She painted canvases in Los Angeles and painted lies in Genoa City. The same lady who previously defrauded a man of $500,000 today ruthlessly manipulates billion-dollar corporate empires. This deceit is given emotional depth by her friendship with Nate Hastings. Despite his own moral failings, Nate, who has always been an idealist, thinks he has found a soulmate in Audra. However, her criminal history and covert identity pose a threat to both of their jobs. She could lose all she's worked so hard to if her true name, Audra Cortez, comes to light. Ironically, she has constructed a new life on an even more precarious foundation of deceit in an attempt to avoid the repercussions of her theft. Parental support for Kyle Abbott. Although there is no emotional intensity, Kyle Abbott's subplot provides a break from the criminal shadows. Jack and Diane as parents back him unconditionally. The moment is intriguing because it's unclear exactly what they're supporting, his love or commercial aspirations. If the goal is to win back Claire Newman's love, it represents yet another instance of family meddling in the Abbotts' romantic relationships. When it comes to business strategy at Jabot, it becomes a mirror of the never-ending struggle between legacy and loyalty. Diane's maternal protectiveness and Jack's unwavering knowledge show how far the family has come, but they also show how readily they might revert to deception under the pretext of leadership. Although Kyle is truly appreciative, his independence is still in jeopardy. In Genoa City, parental support frequently has conditions, and Kyle can quickly come to understand that all good deeds in this world have a calculated purpose. Noah's past and unspoken relationships, a narrative void left by Noah's protracted absence from Genoa City, is currently being filled with mystery. His relationship with Sienna and Mitch Bacall implies that he has unintentionally entered the same maze of dishonesty that is currently endangering his father. He may have been a pawn in Matt's scheme to entice Nick into conflict, as suggested by the moments in which he starts to fill in the blanks regarding his stay in Los Angeles. Questions start to surface as Noah starts to remember his conversations with Mitch. Did Matt plan Noah's mishap in order to communicate with Nick? Was Sienna a part of Matt's complex revenge scheme, or was she just another manipulated character? The key to solving the enigma of Mitch Bacall's true identity will probably be Noah's lucidity. His waking signifies the awakening of generational awareness, where the son must discover the sins that still plague the father, rather than just a return to consciousness. Nick's concern for Sharon. One of the most persistent emotional themes in the program has been Nick's protective feelings for Sharon. Nick's moral compass continues to revolve on Sharon. Despite their teenage romance and adult traumas, all of his past anxieties are rekindled when a man who looks like Matt Clark reappears, fearing that Sharon will be the victim of violence and obsession once more. Nick has good reason to be paranoid. From Ian Ward's cultish machinations to Cameron Kirsten's psychological warfare, Sharon has suffered a great deal. She is both resilient and delicate due to the trauma she carries, and Nick's efforts to protect her are as much about his own atonement as they are about her security. Nick's physical violence and emotional weakness are masterfully contrasted in the plot. Although Mitch was the target of his punch, it was metaphorically directed at his own failure to protect Sharon from the demons of her past. Meta-analysis, from GH to YNR. The casting of Roger Howarth as Mitch Bacall/Matt Clark is a clever meta-narrative reference to the history of soap operas. Nick's threat to send him to GH or the morgue is a self-aware statement on the shared legacy of daytime television, as well as a humorous Easter egg that General Hospital fans will find hilarious. This casting choice revitalizes Matt Clark's mythology, in addition to generating buzz. The show appeals to nostalgia while maintaining the narrative's freshness by introducing a new face with an old soul. The continuity wink, which alludes to Rick Hurst's 2001 portrayal of Matt and his reconstructive surgery, unites the past and present, rewarding devoted viewers and enticing new ones to delve deeper into the complex lore. The conflicted conscience of Holden Novak. One of the most morally nuanced characters in this web is Holden Novak. He was once a bartender who concealed secrets and accepted bribes, but today he wants atonement via the truth. His admission to Claire reveals both his humanity and his remorse. Holden stands in for those supporting characters in YNR who frequently operate as mirrors for the main protagonists, common people caught up in the mayhem of the powerful. His involvement in Audra's previous theft serves as an example of how even minor characters can be the source of shocking discoveries. Tension and reality are increased by his unwillingness to identify the man Audra stole from. Information is the most precious commodity in Genoa City, and Holden is aware that talking too much might ruin him. A man too good to continue lying, but too compromised to confess the whole truth. His internal struggle between morality and self-preservation is a classic soap opera tragedy. The interwoven themes: reinvention, identity, and guilt. This entire storyline is fundamentally about identity, including people's masks, hidden pasts, and true names. Sienna is a woman who may not be aware of her husband's true nature. Mitch Bacall may be Matt Clark. Audra Charles is actually Audra Cortez. And even Nick, despite his moral rectitude, conceals his mental turmoil beneath the facade of control. Another element that unites these tales is guilt. Every character struggles with the fallout from lying, including Nick's guilt over Sharon's past suffering, Audra's guilt with thievery, Holden's sorrow over quiet, and Sienna's guilt from cooperation. The timeless YNR theme, that no one can avoid the consequences of their own decisions, is reflected in their attempts at reinvention, whether through name changes or new professions. The impending conflict. The setting is set for a confrontation that might redefine alliances when the schemes come together. If Mitch is really Matt Clark, Nick's decades-long revenge plan will explode with biblical rage. Nick's rash acts of violence cannot be tolerated. This fundamental enigma is surrounded by Audra's exposure, Noah's recollections, and Sharon's safety. The possible consequences go beyond personal grudges. Family reputations, sexual relationships, and corporate empires are all under jeopardy. Although the Abbotts have had controversies in the past, this plot blends the power politics of Genoa City with the decadence of Los Angeles in a novel way. Character development and emotional undercurrents. This arc's emotional richness sets it apart from typical soap opera melodrama. Fear, ambition, guilt, and love are common human drives that drive the actions of each character. The range of reactions to corruption is demonstrated by Nick's fury, Audra's ambition, Holden's regret, and Claire's moral conflict. Even Mitch, if he is really Matt, turns into a terrible figure, a man so obsessed by retaliation that he has forgotten what life is like without it. These characters' development guarantees that the plot doesn't just repeat cliches. Rather, it reinterprets them. An old villain's comeback is more than simply nostalgia. It's a critique of the way pain is passed down through the generations. Predicting chaos in the future. The upcoming discoveries will set off a chain reaction if history is any indication. Sienna's allegiance will be put to the test, possibly fatally. Audra's covert identity has the potential to bring down her business empire and reveal the brutal facade of corporate respectability. Noah's regained recollection might either clear or implicate his father. Additionally, Nick might face repercussions that even Victor's power can't lessen because he crossed the line into violence. Now, the phrase GH or the morgue functions as a terrifying prophecy. Either Mitch or someone else will wind up in the hospital. As mirror images of each other's moral decline, the two cities of Genoa and Los Angeles function as twin arenas for redemption and destruction. Conclusion: a call to account for everyone. Every secret in the young and the restless has a deadline. An entire generation's buried sins were awakened by Nick Newman's rash punch, which sparked more than just another rivalry. Regardless of whether Mitch Bacall is actually Matt Clark or not, his presence compels everyone to examine their past and present selves. Audra Charles's outing as Audra Cortez serves as a reminder to viewers that weak lies are frequently the foundation of power. Holden's admission, Noah's rebirth, and Claire Newman's moral awakening all point to the same theme. Nobody in this world can avoid responsibility forever. As this storyline progresses, viewers see a contemplation on identity, legacy, and the price of secrets in addition to a conflict between long-standing foes. Nick's decision to send Matt to GH or the morgue could eventually serve as a metaphor for the destiny of every character, a choice between salvation and ruin.